Can I persuade you with a sandwich to take for you on the trip? I'll get drive-through. What's happening, YouTube, and welcome to a brand new PRLostGalaxy2014 review. And this one is for the 30th, to accommodate the 30th anniversary of Batman Forever, the very first Batman movie that came out around the time I was well and alive, because I know I missed out on the Burton movies and all. But here is my review on Spin Master's Retro Collection, Batman Forever Batmobile. That is a Target exclusive, because this is probably a review that I've been wanting to get my hands on, because there's just something nostalgic about that packaging and how they're doing a throwback for it, because given that this year is the 30th anniversary of Batman Forever, and this is one of the last few toys that I believe that Spin Master will do, because like with McFarlane, Spin Master will lose the toy license of DC Comics and have those, since Mattel is coming back to do toys for all things DC Comics, since now McFarlane and Spin Master pretty much have lucked out. So you get it at Target. It's about $20, $19.99 actually, but it's $20, $21 subtotal depending how you get it plus tax. I've been wanting to get my hands on this Batmobile because, man, the history I have with Batman Forever. Oh my God. Where do I start with this film? Then again, Batman Forever came out when I was only a little boy, 2 going on 3 in 1995, 30 years ago. And I know I wasn't alive around the time of the Michael Keaton Batman movies, but I did caught on to those movies on VHS as a kid, but mostly Batman Returns. And I did have Batman 89 on like the Sega and all that, and I did have a video game of Batman Forever also on Sega, but Batman Forever back in 1995, alongside, the first Power Rangers movie and Toy Story and Disney's Pocahontas, these 4 movies, and I guess also Mortal Kombat 95, those 5 movies pretty much made my childhood, particularly Batman Forever and Power Rangers and Toy Story. But Batman Forever was just all over the place too, because again, say what anyone will about the Joel Schumacher Batman movies, but Batman Forever was good for the time. It's still good today, but again, given the reputation tarnished by Batman and Robin, everybody had been hating on this and Batman and Robin for a really long time. It's like, oh, if Batman and Robin sucks, then Batman Forever sucks. No, not really. But Batman Forever's many high points that I've always found interesting, even to this day, 30 years later, was the Batmobile, the Batwing that Kilmer's Batman had, and also the Panther suit. Now, I know for the figure that goes with this Batmobile is the sonar suit that was in the 3rd act of the movie, and not the Panther suit. And knowing it would have been fine if they had the Panther suit one and not the... Well, if you want to get the Panther suit one, I think you got to get the separate figure at Target, because, the Retro Collection Spin Master figures are only at Target, and so is this Batmobile. But that's as far as you're going to go if you're going to get any form of like Val Kilmer Batman in the Panther suit. But this is the sonar suit. Nothing against the sonar suit, but Panther suit was just close to what Michael Keaton had for Batman and Batman Returns. Even if Val Kilmer was a very underrated Batman and Bruce Wayne, but I really still like that Panther suit, even though the less we not think about the nipples on the suit, the better, because, everybody, see, it's, again, the Joel Schumacher Batman movies 30 years later is just so synonymous with people. The nipples, the butts, all that. But again, if they did a Retro Collection Batman and Robin Batmobile, yeah, you were going to talk about, the Batman with that had George Clooney as at one time, and just like how this was the only Batman with Val Kilmer in the character as at one time. But the other movie was the one with the ice puns and, the Ice Age and all of that. But, this is not that Batman. This was the Batman that had, Jim Carrey as the Riddler. Yeah, again, he was the movie, and still 30 years later, one of many of the best points of Batman Forever. Say what you want. And, well, Tommy Lee Jones' Two-Face Harvey Dent. Unfortunately, his Harvey Dent and Two-Face had a lot to be left desired. But, hey, that was the movie, though. But we're talking about the Batmobile. Because the Batmobile, I remember having the original Kenner Hasbro toy of this from back in the day with the lights and all of that, because them blue neon lights, man, that was a magical thing. Because 30 years later, and here I am with this Batmobile, but remade by a different maker, not Kenner or Hasbro. So again, will this be worth the $20? Well, let's find out. Shoot, man, that was tough. Taking out the Batmobile out of the box. Okay, put the flat piece on because there's like 3 of the wings onto the Batmobile from this movie. Because, yeah, now it looks exactly like how it is in the film. There is a lot of stark differences between the Kenner one and the Spin Master one. And I know there's other renditions of this Batmobile, even wait until I get the Jada Toys version, trust me. The 1x24 scale diecast one, that's the same scale as my Transformers The Last Night 1x24 scale Bumblebee for the Batmobile from this movie, coming up very, very soon, even though it was supposed to be slated for this month. But I chose to do this instead. Well, before we talk about the main mecha that is the Batmobile, let's take a look at this Batman figure real quick. Wow, it's very nostalgic. I am getting a little nostalgic of all the Batman figures I had from back in the day, and just looking at the... Yeah, it's supposed to resemble Val Kilmer in the role of Batman, even though I don't know why they made his chest so bulky, his head so chunky and stuff looking. I mean, even though Spin Master did an alright try to be close to the Kenner figure releases from back in the day, but it just didn't even come close. And now the Sonar Suit Batman would have made more sense if we had their retro collection Batwing, which I also used to have, like the Batmobile and the Batboat. Well, even though when me and my brother were little kids, rest in peace again to Austin, if he was still alive, he would have saw this. The Batmobile, the Batwing, and Batboat, those were some of the most, beast of figures, vehicles we had for our Batman toy collection for back then. But this is specifically for me. But this Batman figure is all right. It's very, it does throw back to that retro Kenner figure feel that I used to remember seeing. And also the cape, it's almost close to what I used to know. But hey, it's just exactly how I slightly remembered it. But even though there is a lot of stark differences from what Kenner did back 30 years ago. So let's put this Batman away. But I really want to talk about the Batmobile because, man, I've been so fascinated with the look of this Batmobile for so long. There's just something about it because of the neon lights, the neon blue lights. But the original Kenner toy, well, there was lights to the thing. Sadly, there is no blue lights, no on and off switch for this thing. So if you want to put some blue lights in the Batmobile, okay, but that's going to be a little bit of a tricky thing. But now let's take a look at this. Put this Batman into the canopy of the Batmobile. Now the canopy, unlike the original Kenner toy, is very accurate to the film version, where the canopy would open like this and close like this. Because I don't know what the heck knowing how Kenner did that Batmobile back then. Now let's try to put this Sonar Suit Batman into the thing. And he's going to be a bit of a tricky figure to put in the thing. Okay, and then this is how he would look in the canopy of the Batmobile. Okay, but just take him out. I do have an LED blue light I could put the Batmobile, put in the Batmobile if it could fit, but it may be tricky and it may not work. But let me turn the light off and see how this is going to work. So, will this blue LED light fit in this thing? Nope, I don't think so. Oh no. I guess maybe I'm going to have to get a much smaller light puck to put in this Batmobile. This still wouldn't do it, but hey, it's as close as getting some blue LED lights peeking out from this Batmobile, but I gotta get I think next time, a much smaller blue LED light puck to put in this Batmobile, because the pucks that I got is just too small. But again, it almost was as close to the real thing and like how I had back in the day. But it's just still not going to work. Even with my light puck, it still ain't going to work. Nope. So, yeah, unfortunately, until I get some smaller light puck for this Batmobile, and we'll see how it will be authentically like in the film. Now, I'm aware of the McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse Batmobile for Batman Forever, but that is going to take up a lot of room space. So I'm just going to stick with this and the Jada Toys 1/24 scale one for now. Oh yeah, let me turn the light back on. So yeah, the LED blue light didn't work, and it was just too big. Maybe I need to get a much smaller puck or something to put in the Batmobile so it can glow and show that blue translucent glow, just like the original 90s toy used to do. And but I just really like this, and I know the original Kenner toy, this used to be that little missile piece that you had to press the button onto, and then it shoots at the figure, at any figure. And that was a cool play feat on that original Kenner toy. But, Spin Master, I think they really outdone themselves with this figure, with this Batmobile. I mean, I say it's way more faithful design-wise to the movie, but the Kenner one looked a little bit too long. And I think Kenner back then, well, given how toys and toy vehicles were for Batman and them back in the day, they were what they was, and they was just had to work with then. But again, I've always been a fan of this Batmobile. I've always been a fan of Batman Forever. And yeah, to a degree, Batman and Robin, even though there's some vehicles I wish that Spin Master would take on from that movie for the retro collection before they lose the license to Mattel, as Mattel is coming back with DC toys once more. But yeah, this is way more close to the movie screen-wise than the Kenner one, because the Kenner one kind of overdid some things in a sense and in a way. So yeah, they were trying 30 years ago, but nothing against the Kenner one and any other rendition of this Batmobile that whoever toy maker does toys for this Batman is all I'm saying. So anyway, that's it for my review on the Batmobile retro collection that's Target exclusive for Batman Forever. Yeah, I wish that if they had done one with the lights to it, but then it would probably cost more, because given the blue translucent coloring inside the engines for the vehicle, yeah, that's probably why they don't want to put lights in it, because it would cost too much, just like probably the Kenner one back then again. So anyway, that's it for my review. Until next time when I ever do get my hands on the Jada Toys one. Not so sure on the McFarlane one, but the McFarlane one is going to be very, very what's that word I'm looking for? But it'll come back to me. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe, drop a like, share this video with your friends, and I'll see you guys next time with a brand new review.